Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome into NFT Live on the Web3 networks. Y'all got to chill out and chat. Y'all got. We will start this episode when we want to. All right. Damn. No, I see you guys in chat. Thank you for showing up here on a Tuesday. We're gonna try to turn up for y'all and cover this space. So what's up, Biggie?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm getting off a GM Web3 show. I'm in the middle of trying to start this episode off right, man. Kane Mayfield's here as well. Shout out to the homies.
Oh, the big man himself. What's up, Kane? Been a while. Needs to drop off. He's still doing his Thursdays spaces, man. I enjoy those a lot.
I wish.
Oh no.
I
really?
wish.
Those were fun, man.
We'll have to start them back up.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we're getting started. Good. We're getting started here relatively shortly. We did just press live, so we'll wait for a few folks to hop in. This is the update today. We're going to touch ETHscriptions. We're going to dive into ETHscriptions. Now, keep in mind, this shit is just coming out in the last 48 hours. So we are with y'all when it comes to knowledge on what's happening with ETHscriptions. So we're going to try to do a deep dive, check out some threads, and we will do that. We'll also have FUD with Yuga Labs as well as staking. We got a bunch of stuff to cover. It's nice to get Biggie's takes. This is our first. I think this is our first dual episode today, Biggie.
Yeah, really.
I don't know if you're ready for it, bro.
Yeah, I think like the one dual episode I did, it was like way back. It was with Savage, I think. Yeah, way back.
So, Kane Mayfield's like, get me in here. Okay.
Oh, okay. Shit.
All right, so
okay, you're about to have to do the metadata again for this whole fucking episode.
Yeah, we'll change the thumbnail mid-flight here to Kane Mayfield's face. All right.
Yeah.
Look, I'll work on that. We do not have Gift Ed today, so Gift Ed is on a very super important meeting, which hopefully he'll be off of in the next 20 to 30 minutes. And then maybe he'll hop on NFT Live. But he's leaving it open-ended as he does. So we'll see if he hops in. But I'll try to get Kane Mayfield in here. Let me see. I'm going to send him the link.
Man, that's nutty, man.
So what's up, man? What did you get in over the weekend? Did you touch the
it was
Web3
double celebration for me. It was my baby girl's birthday, and so it was her second birthday, and my wife and my mother-in-law went a little bit too crazy, and you know how fucking Mexican fucking parties can be. So it went long, and it's like the excuse is that it's for the kids, but it really is for the adults, at the end.
100%.
And so that was fun. And then it was Father's Day, which was also nice. But yeah, man, I'm glad to be back, and I'm trying to get into a routine now, just regular routine, and shit keeps popping off. So hopefully I get a month or two, get in the flow of things.
Yeah, it's tough to be in a routine in the crypto space, man. I will say that.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
All right,
ETHscriptions. I saw them talked about. I have not dove in too crazy on it, but I mean, I will say right off the bat, completely uninformed, by the way, people. But I mean, it just seems like the hijacking of a brand, right? It's like, hey, why not?
Yeah, it feels like they're co-opting that narrative from Ordinals. So we'll jump in to see if there's any substance to what they're creating. All right, Kane, I dropped you the link on Discord, man. So unless you're faking right now, unless you're faking us out with a little bit of your not showing up here, we will happily open the doors to NFT Live for you.
Right on, man. I will say I was searching on Amazon for Dr. Enrique Wave's shock powder, but pretty bummed that he just made it out, dude.
It's completely sold out. I mean, I don't even know when the supply chain stuff will get handled, but it's just sold out.
Damn.
All right, Biggie. We worked on Rate My Bags last week. I want your initial take here. We've been carefully crafting this over years, and I want your quick take. Kane, I see you.
What's up, Kane? He's even got a halo behind him.
That's a green screen. My man's in the metaverse.
Oh, I thought we were doing. I thought I had a whole thing in here, and apparently I don't. No, it's fine. I'll just take it down. No, it's good. I'm gonna leave my chair back.
It up. I like
no, it's too late. No. I thought I got to get cute. I got a light here. Got a fucking ring light in my face, like a fucking professional.
My God, the glow up for Kane Mayfield since the first time I saw this man on video.
Yeah, getting them peso dollars. I'm just kidding. I'm poor. You'll know when I stop being poor when this background looks exceptionally nicer. Not
be at Miami Beach background.
No. But it'll be like, ooh, like, oh, hey, I wonder what the rest of the house is like. When it's like that, when it makes you wonder, that's when you know I'm doing good. I'm feeling froggy.
I'm hoping that day is soon.
I'm holding my baby. Yeah, bro, I got my son frozen in carbonite.
Oh, nice. That's a beautiful piece, dude.
Yeah, frozen in carbonite, like fucking Han Solo.
Nice.
And it sits on a platform that color changes for pride or something. I don't know, but it's nice. I like it. And listen, I was saying in the chat, just say Gift Ed's doing porn.
It's an NDA.
Sure it is. Listen, unless it's the wrong kind of porn, there's no NDA. And there's no wrong kind. Like what you like. Happy Pride.
All right. I before you hopped in here, Kane, I was going to show off.
Light open.
I want to show off this Rate My Bags. Biggie, I need your take here. We've been working on this, carefully crafting our rankings of the NFT space here. Kane, Rare Pepe is still at the top. So it's still on S tier since you added it. But Biggie, we didn't work on this last week with you. We were on, I believe, on a Thursday episode. What do you think?
Yeah, dude. I mean, okay, so like going down S tier. Okay, I think why Mutant Apes if BAYC is already there. Fidenzas. I mean, I know some people are setting them up on their, but not really as Twitter profiles. But I don't know. Like, what was the aim there? Just doesn't matter. Whichever. It can be fine art as well.
Yeah, we got caught up with the art getting on the list. So yes, I will say that some art has made it. The S tier art, I guess. Call that.
I'd love to hear why V Friends is above Moonbirds.
Because they have a party. When Moonbirds takes over a town in Minnesota, they get to be special. Until then, they get to just be a regular fucking project that isn't as valuable as it once was.
We canceled our party. All right. Fine. Oniforce. I get it. It's been on an uptick, and I know GIF is bullish on it, but I mean,
you know what?
You still have to deliver, right?
That's actually a great take. Oni should probably be a B. You're right.
Yeah. Let's see.
All right.
I mean, captains. I like that. Again, like I don't know. Like I feel like Codas and Mutant Apes should just all be bundled up with BAYC, dude. Like I don't know why they get their own independent stages.
So so you want Yuga all packaged together? We get a Yuga logo. Okay.
It's just kind of like, I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, Moonbirds, Proof, and Mystics should be all together. It's the same thing, right? Same ecosystem.
I never realized how similar you two look. It's very before and after.
Who's before?
It depends on what the narrative is. So if it's like I started drinking mushroom coffee, then then Nifty Q was the after. If it's the other way around, if it's like lost my job, started working from home,
Jesus Christ, Mayfield.
Then you guys are you're similar looking. You have very similar faces. I called them handsome earlier. You should take this as a compliment. And you got your big fuck sofa behind you there. That's nice. That's a fuck sofa. I know a fuck sofa when I see one. Got your Oculus on there. You definitely jack off on that couch. Yeah, 100%.
I'm already regretting this.
You definitely listen. You've shot ropes on that couch, bro. Like
Kane, who's your doppelganger in this space, Kane?
No one. There's this space is universally ugly. Present company excluded. So no one looks like me because I'm fucking handsome.
All right.
You know how good looking you have to be fat and still good looking? Like think of how good my car is, where all 4 tires are slashed, but it's like, yeah, I drive that. Yeah, I'm a fat person who has high self-esteem because I'm delicious universally. My personality makes me ugly.
I'm going to attempt to keep us on the rails for this episode. Hey, we have a Wild Web podcast interview tomorrow. Ralph Quintero is coming onto the network here. The episode is going to be released tomorrow. We're going to be doing like a quick ApeCoin giveaway for this as well. So whenever that episode releases tomorrow, I'm sitting down with him here in like the next hour. We'll have the full interview out tomorrow. Obviously, Ralph has been curating that daily Ralph newsletter for a long time. Excited to talk with him. We do have things to talk about today, other than how good we all look up here and how me and Biggie Poppins apparently are very similar. But we have ETHscriptions to talk about. We got Yuga Labs is getting FUD. So let me open this up real quick because I need to get myself kind of on stable ground. Bitcoin Ordinals has already popped off. Biggie, we had your friend Mark back in February talking about Bitcoin Ordinals before they popped off. Since then, we've had a ton of ordinal volume, just interest. What is y'all's general take on that Bitcoin Ordinals, movement or narrative or whatever the heck you want to call it? What is y'all's general take on Bitcoin Ordinals? And then we can move to ETHscriptions, which is essentially this co-opting of that narrative onto ETH.
Well, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm bullish just because I've always loved Bitcoin, and I'd love to see innovation occur on it, because for so long people try to stifle it and just keep it boring, which is also understandable. Having said that, I don't know if Ordinals will be the prominent NFT, banner for Bitcoin. I'm still very much a Stacks maxi. I think at least, if you want to do like L2, like functionality and stuff like that. I see you, Mayfield. You'll get your shot. But, having said that, I've got nothing against them. I just do think that, like many of these new things, stuff becomes popular and they just start like flooding it with a bunch of junk. And it's really hard to sift through all of it. And so I usually like to wait, even if I have to pay a little bit of a premium, for the projects that make it. I would much rather let them battle it amongst themselves before picking a winner. But yeah, I'm bullish on it, and we'll definitely get Mark back to talk on it, because I know he's building some really cool stuff. Probably at the moment still heads down building. It'll be good to see what happens.
Jesus, man, I buy ginger chews by the kilo. It's my new. I got off the Shockwave. This is my new product placement. Ginger chews.
They pay more.
I just join people's live and promote ginger chews. No, man. I don't think I've ever heard, and I open them with a knife like a real bushman. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say I'm a Stacks maxi, that's interesting. I'm glad you said that. That was just a fun thing to hear someone say out loud.
No, I didn't say you're a Stacks maxi.
No, you. Like I heard you say I'm a Stacks maxi. I've never heard that before. But as far as the Ordinals goes, I thought it was a fun extraction. I think it still is, because people never learn. So I don't think that overnight everyone started caring about where their metadata was stored, because niggas was using fucking AWS 15 minutes ago and no one was the wiser. So all of a sudden we care about metadata. I don't think so. Bitcoin NFTs have been around forever, counterparty for life. So, I'm a counterparty guy. I'm not gonna pretend. And if Ordinals really was the truth, and I like Casey, I think he's a nice guy. I think if it really was about inscriptions, then Namecoin would be on the moon right now. Color Coin would be on the moon right now. But they're not, because no one could have profited from it, except for the people who already had it. So no one's going to pump someone else's bag. They'll just make their own. And that's really what ended up happening. And then, because it's silly and it leads into, ETHscriptions, it's apparently, oh, y'all buy that? All right, cool. You'll buy that? All right, cool. This is less about the kind of weed or the kind of drug and more the color bag your weed comes in. That's really what this is to me. The color bag. Hey, you're blind if you put it in a blue bag. Blue bag, for real? No. How about a little ETHscription? They're just trying shit because, people aren't buying PFPs, so the PFP pushers are trying other things to do with their base of galvanized crypto dumpers.
So the reactions have been all over the place when you go across Twitter. Some people are pushing this as like, and I understand those could be the people that are just looking to pump their own bags and things like this, but some people are calling this a little, at least somewhat innovative when it comes to like something new, and it's not just another 5-6K PFP project or something like that. Of course, those aren't going to sell. But is there no element to these inscriptions that seem innovative to both of y'all?
How about this? Have you talked about Bitmap on the show yet?
I can.
No, but mark it down and just say that today I told you about Bitmap. And watch how crazy that gets. It's the same thing, man. It's a new toy. Ordinals and inscriptions, or any kind of inscription in general, makes a lot of sense if you care where your metadata. Like for all the shit that I talk, I have inscriptions. I've inscribed some of my stuff. I had some of my stuff inscribed early, actually, and I've got it. I'm sitting on it. I'm not flipping it because there's no fucking market for it. And I've been having to warn. And I think some of my ire comes from me having to warn people, because you know how people, especially I'm closer to the artist side of things. Like you guys are closer to the collector side of things. The artist side of things, I got to keep these niggas from running off a cliff like lemmings. Like, yo, what are you doing? Oh, man, I have to raise some money. For what? My inscriptions are going to cost like 15 grand. Don't do that. No one's going to buy that from you. Stop. And I have to like reel people in. And then you got 1,000 people telling them, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. But that's just not true. Do I think inscriptions are cool? Yeah. I think that inscribing things on chain is dope. Do I think that's a viable method of communicating messages or the artwork? No. I think it's a great place to put the news. I think it's a great place to put like leaked government documents. I think it's great for those type of things. It's great if you want to stay dangerous or really put something there that no one can ever take down. But people be peopling. So think of if I told you I was in possession, me personally. And this is strictly for NFTQ, right? You know what, Biggie, fucking tune in on this because I'm crazy. So if I told you definitively that I was in possession of a machine that allowed me to write whatever the fuck I wanted on the moon, me, with how I am, told you I was in possession of that, you would be a little bit concerned about what I may write, correct?
Yeah, I'd
be big penis.
I'd be getting the popcorn out, brother.
Yeah, because I say things like, "Oh, don't do that. You're gonna get butt fucked in the mouth." I say crazy things. So the fact that I could write something that's in perpetuity forever makes it dangerous. Well, the same thing goes for inscriptions. People could put cheese pizza up there. People could put lies, unsavory shit. They can put all kinds of terrible things in there, and that was the initial concern with ordinals. Hey, don't play around because this could be a problem. Now, there's other things like Bitcoin. I forget the name of it. BTC.
Kane, so
that's
Kane,
not printable.
But permanence does have value, right? Like you read about what's his name, Steve Wynn, putting his elbow through a Picasso that he owned, right? And like that piece being devalued and costing hundreds of millions just to get back together, right? And I think when you look at what Jack Butcher did, teaching a lot of people about metadata, right, and where it's stored, I think permanence and where you store certain things does have value. I agree with you that not everything, most people do not care about metadata. So I agree with that. But there is a significant sector in the market, especially in the fine art collector market, that do. And there are certain pieces that I think are worthy. I was just mentioning in the spaces, like when I got to speak with Dan Calderon, Snowfro's brother, about like why he didn't, post his art in other chains. He said, because I want my art to live, in other words, as long as possible. And so he wants to have it on the chains that are as robust and most promising as possible, right? And I'm very bullish on Bitcoin for that very reason, right? Because it has that Lindy effect. And so I do think, like what we were talking about is like a lot of people post pizzas and dumb shit on it that's just not worth having on that blockchain. It just feels like graffiti, and then fine, let them do it, right? But like you said, government documents are definitely a use case, right? Like for dangerous stuff. But I think that there's also a case to be made that for some fine art, you'd want it to be inscribed directly on the blockchain, right? For permanence reasons, right? Because you don't know what can happen down the line, right? Like this is still a space that is being experimented with a lot, and things can turn awry every now and then. And to be able to have something directly printed on the blockchain, not on some, decentralized storage system or anything, can have that extra value, right? And provenance that people like to use, right?
Well, I agree. I'm a storage person. I make my own JSON file. I use Arweave. I use Pinata. I use IPFS personally to individually back up my metadata when I'm pinning the data for my JSON file. Like I make my own NFT like the hard way.
And you don't worry that something maybe down the line someday could go wrong.
Well, if it goes wrong for me, it's going wrong for everybody.
Exactly, but what I'm saying is like, it's placing a lot of faith on these very nascent technologies that I know millions of people are using, and I've bought a lot of art that uses it as well. But there's a reason why CryptoPunks and artwork that is directly on chain or in chain, whatever euphemism you want to use,
on chain.
Carries okay, but it is now. There is a reason why it has a certain value, right, attached to it, a little more. No, it is. If you go to any art collector, serious art collector, or a fund, or you talk to Punk 5629, they will tell you that does carry a certain level of value. Maybe not for the average Joe, but for a substantial amount of people, that peace of mind and that provenance holds a certain amount of value. I, for one, will always value more something that is on chain directly versus something that is stored in a decentralized server. Of course, I'd value something that's on Arweave or IPFS a lot more than if it's in some Amazon, server. But it's been proven that things can go wrong sometimes. I'm just saying.
No, but this is we're not talking about the NFT not being on chain. We're talking about because the token is on chain. The token's a token. We're not lazy minting things with OpenSea, right? We're talking that's all on chain. Anything on Counterparty is up, good, stable, been there since 2014, still kicking, still thriving. The original tokens are still working. All that's good, right? We're talking about where the data is pinned and where the data is stored. Now, if you're using Arweave, which is a chain, Arweave is on chain. It's just not on ETH. It's just not on Counterparty.
It's its own separate protocol.
Correct, but it's a protocol designed just for that hospitals will probably be using at some point. So I'm not worried about that so much. And again, a lot of this stuff is I got a lot of canaries in my coal mine. I mean, we all really do. If I have even a sniffle, Yuga has full-blown AIDS. For someone like me is hurt, they're wrecked. Because think about what's there. If my little file system storage facility has a problem, even a hiccup, that means the rest of the space is on fire. Kind of the same way people say, well, yeah, you got magic internet money. What happens when the power grid goes out? Nigga, if the power grid goes out for 5 months,
so if something like that were to happen, what would the value of art that is on chain be? Because that would not be
goes out?
No. I'm saying if Arweave for whatever had a hiccup, it doesn't have to be the power grid. It could just be, I don't know, it gets hacked, an update goes awry, something happens, I mean, there's people that are very cognizant of all these issues, including, I believe, Carly Riley had an issue with her metadata with her NFT, right? It wasn't intentional, but it happened, right? And it was fixed. It was easy to fix, and it was an easy fix, and thank God it was a utility NFT and not an artwork NFT, right? But let's just say something like that happens, some glitch in the machine, some ghost in the machine screws it all up, and the only remaining artwork that we have is autoglyphs, punks, and a couple of other on-chain artwork. What's the value of that art now?
Not much, because everyone would just re-upload everything.
Mm-hmm.
In a perfect, in a vacuum, yeah, sure, but that's not peopling. Peopling dictates that. Like, how did CryptoPunks get on chain? Because they damn sure weren't.
Mm-hmm.
So someone put it there. Well, someone would just put them wherever things are at that point. The same way.
But even that's a point of contention to this day, right?
Yeah.
The V1 versus V2 contract.
Well,
I'm just saying, it like there is some value that you have to attribute to artwork that is on chain, just for the sheer development acumen that is required to be able to do it. Of course, there's other people that have done it now, like Proof, which is like open source and other people can use, but there's a reason for that, right? I mean, how can I mean, how many artworks have been burned down, whether it's by Nazis or just natural fires, right? Or you know, like caveman dwellings, you know what they have to spend just to freaking keep those things alive and not allow people to go in and look at them. It's the canvas. It's a canvas, but there is some value in how permanent that canvas can be. And that's, I mean, if we're attributing it to fiat and to money, you know, how can it not be a tribute to art?
That's I want to continue for Ordinals.
I want to continue having this conversation. I do. I want to make sure that everybody that's tuning along knows that we're talking about ETHscriptions. We're doing as well kind of an overview here on Ordinals and basically on chain like inscriptions. Basically, I'm gonna give you some context here. Bob Bodley is saying, after chatting with Jake Gallen and Adam McBride, this is basically a more context for ETHscriptions. Use ERC 721, but instead of IPFS pointers, point to ETH transaction that has the image or metadata for your NFTs. It's fully on-chain, immutable storage, leverages a smart contract, no centralized indexer. I'm really liking this. To which another individual is, commenting here. I like that people are discovering these, but this was always possible. Def Beef and 0x Mon did this ages ago. We use call data to store allow list Merkle proofs for fully on-chain mint sites too. And then he's saying call data isn't immutable. It's likely to be the first to get purged with EIP 4444.
Yeah, it's not the same way that Ordinals is prunable. Like it's now BRC20s aren't, which is funny, but it's a fun fad. Here, if it really was that big of a deal, it really was. Obviously, where people are trying to put it isn't appropriate for size, for cost, for anything. If they really are about it like that, make a side chain. Make a chain that's just for that. Make a chain that's just for that and keep it decentralized and blah, 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 blah. And then everyone can have super duper fun time, party, go bang, bang. Otherwise, it's all just marketing, man.
Do either of you own Ordinals?
I have some.
Yes.
I don't sound like I do, but I do.
Yeah, no expert here either, but I've collected a couple. I mean, you have to tinker with these things to see how they work, right? And hopefully you follow some interesting cats that are doing innovative things, and you invest in something with permanence and value right down the line. My question with these ETHscriptions is one of the things that immediately comes to mind, which was the same with Ordinals that bugged me, is is there like a data size limit of what you can upload? I know a lot of people just kind of, glance over this and say, oh, well, with Ordinals, what is it, Kane? Is it like 14 megabytes, something like that? 4? Yeah. Okay. And again, here, I'm not a creator, but, people scoff at it and just kind of like, that's more than enough. That's more than what I need to put. Exactly. Right. It's not. So for anything that's super high res or anything that's a little more innovative down the line that requires a lot more bandwidth, you're kind of limited. And my question is like, okay, fine, as a kickoff point, sure, but it's something that just always bugs me. And so I'm curious to see what those limitations are in Ethereum.
that kind of goes into the same thing I was saying, Biggie. Like, and I agree with you. If it was really in earnest, the file sizes would be huge, and it would be a chain designed just for that. Yo, and I'm not saying for me, nothing will be suitable for me. I'm a super fat, so there's no chairs that are really comfortable, right? I gotta make myself comfortable wherever I go. But for a normal citizen, 180, 250-pound man, you gotta have something for him, right? Me, I'm a Walter Hudson, I'm a cut the door frame out guy. Reaganomics was 16 gigs when I was done. Like that's the size of my files. Like my shit is huge. The one I just did, New Jack City, was 9 gigs when I was done.
Yeah, you can't store that on the blockchain.
Sure you can. I did.
Yeah, it'll clog the shit out of it.
Well, but nah, it does. It moves a little slow, but you can do it. However, to store it on chain versus to store my metadata inside the chain, like that's a whole different party, man. So like it's an unnecessary extra step for the purpose of being able to say a bragging right. Hey man, but it's on chain. All right, cool. Motherfucker, I'm gonna look at it the same way I'm gonna look at anything else. I can't look at it and tell if it's on chain. No. I can't look at it and see, oh man, that's so ordinally. Like, nah, it's not. It's a bragging right. It's a feather in your cap that really doesn't matter, and it's super prohibitive. So by putting it on chain, it makes it less good. Well, then my choice is always going to be quality over feature and or benefit, bell and or whistle.
All right, Quantum Variant saying the purge is on the ETH roadmap. That is EIP 4,444 apparently. DP saying 4 megabytes isn't nearly enough, and it's become expensive as fuck for high res. Nox Darkness, I haven't found any ordinals that I can afford yet. I'm buying as soon as I can, though. I want at least one, preferably more, just for posterity and the history. And just in case he's mentioning a Walter Hudson reference, talk about a blast from the past. All right, folks. I don't want to spend too much time on the ETHscription piece, just because one, the fad is really just starting. We kind of took it from a high level there. I don't know if you guys are planning on joining or connecting to a marketplace that has ETHscriptions. Is this something you guys are looking into, or just going to watch from afar?
I'll watch from afar. I'm very curious to see how it plays out, though. What do you think, Kane? Are we going to start with like ETHscriptions numbers? People are going to be fighting over like what block they fucking inscribe their shit on. It'll be interesting.
If I'm guessing for real, based on what I can see, and I'm not like I'll do this one time. I don't like doing it. I don't. You know me. I don't like doing it. But I'm on camera with my ring light, so I feel very handsome. So I'm gonna be a little irresponsible.
You are.
I think ETHscriptions are gonna run wild fast, and they're gonna be out of reach quick, and they're gonna be so confusing to everyone who's already super fuddy that it's gonna seed the ground for the bitmap people. Because the bitmap people are secretly a cult already. They're already a fucking cult. And they're going to be a whole thing. And it's going to be an on-chain war, fighting for oxygen with the shitcoin holdouts from now until the end of the summer, I think. But do I think that ETHscriptions are going to be a thing? The only way inscriptions of any variety, ETH, Bitcoin, Tez, Matic, whatever kind of inscription you got, the only way that becomes a thing is if people actually start caring about metadata. Yeah, I don't think we have a problem
bet
there.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a larger conversation on Bitcoin swallowing up a little bit of utility from some of these other chains. I think the narrative moves away from, and then this was brought up in the morning show this morning, the narrative moves away from like layer 2s and all of these things that can, I guess, like replace or kill Ethereum or Bitcoin, and it moves actually towards both of those chains. Like Bitcoin being able to do inscriptions is a whole new utility case, and they're building out a ton of different things on that protocol alone. And I think most Ethereum folks thought of Bitcoin as hard money, and it was just that was the use case. And I think that there's going to be this ecosystem that grows out of it. we've already seen it with Ordinals. I think Ordinals is maybe the first step, and Bitcoin actually swallows up more utility plays throughout, the next couple of years, and we see some people move there.
Well, the issue, and again, I'm blind on this, so I have a bit of what you call it, nose blindness, like the Ocean's 11 movie. Like I can't smell from my own stink, right? I'm so multi-chain that for people who view the world in small boxes, I can almost not understand how they see things. Bitcoin already had crazy NFT energy happening since before everybody. I don't understand how people can ignore that part, but they do, or they don't know, or whatever the fuck. ETH is ETH. Different chains are different chains. Solana should have been dead a year ago. A year to a year and a half ago. That chain should have been done, devoid, drained, and everyone should have left, but they haven't. Because those people genuinely like spending time with each other. And, pros and cons of the chain aside, you can't beat the people factor. Tezos, come on. Who's really betting on Tezos 8 months ago, right? But I was, because I know that every now and again, everything gets helter-skelter. Essentially, Tezos is the good guy and you're dating a bad boy, and when he beats you or tries to put cocaine in your vagina, you call Tezos. You say, I can't believe what he did to me with his gas fees. And then Tezos like, I know, I would never do you like that. And then you make a little money, and boom, right back to fucking bad Billy, who's going to put you on the back of his panhead and ride with no helmet. So, but Tezos has culture. Tezos has DeFi. Tezos has art. Those two things keep Tezos the way it is, regardless of what the coin is doing, regardless of what utilities are provided. People like peopling. The best example, it sucks, but it's true. It's fucking BitClout. There are still BitClout people.
I really hope that's not true.
There are they don't call themselves BitClout. Hey, Kane, you ever heard of DSO? Because I think you like social media, and I'm like, hey, I don't do BitClout, bro, and I gotta like Jehovah's Witness them. But those people are still there because they like each other. So I think the thing that transcends the coin or the community or what puts what coin in place is the community that's there. Arbitrum doesn't really have that community outside of weird finance bros. Avalanche doesn't really have that community outside of people who have the same avalanche trauma, who are in some sort of an avalanche support group together, and the finance bros.
Yeah.
And that's just what that is. It's hard to drain from something that they're not there for that. They're not there for the horse do-overs. They're there because they love the music.
See, for me, as Ethereum continues its upgrades and gets better within the optimism and all these basically developments and upgrades on Ethereum, it's going to be harder and harder for chains like Solana and chains like Tezos and these other chains that say, hey, we're actually faster than Ethereum. As we get closer to a point where Ethereum gets more usable, those chains better have communities already, because it's going to be tough for them to draw people over when the user experience is not as drastic as it is right now.
I have a question for both of you. And I mean it because I truly don't know. And when people say it to me, I think that it's silly. Do you really give a shit how fast any of these chains are?
Yes.
Yes, for the most part.
Are you really wine snobs with your blockchain? Because listen, past the $80 bottle of wine, them shits all taste the same to me.
Yeah.
So
I think
you really can tell the difference
in times of high congestion. That's when people notice, right? And gaming is a whole nother sector that I won't even dive down. But you need to have, if you're going to have microtransactions in these things, in these games, you're going to need to figure that out. Whether that's having throughput. Yeah. And whether every action is a transaction, probably not. But I think in high congestion times, that's when you can't have it, because in high congestion times, you want to be able to transact without, some of these transactions you can't even get through, Kane. If you, when the meme coin craze was going off, you would have to pay to transfer an NFT, it would cost me $150.
Yeah. On what?
Ethereum.
Yeah, gas aside sometimes, you wait.
But that's not, not only is sometimes people aren't in environment to be able to wait. And then I just don't want to be able to wait. Like
I look at these things and I reached for it because I just thought about it when you were saying it. I have these dirty pipes, right? Let me show them to you. I bought them in Dominican Republic. They're very nice, but they're very inappropriate. These pipes never hurt me with their inappropriateness because, this is really gross, by the way, because I don't smoke weed. So I've never had to pull out my pipe and feel bashful about my porno pipes because I don't really smoke weed. And if I do, I don't do it around anybody. I don't do anything to where my blockchain transaction has to be right now. I need it right now. I've never needed anything right now in the space ever. Not once, not one time have I ever needed anything right now. 2, I don't do anything that can't, that has, I don't do video gaming. Because video games really ain't here. All right, Cometh, War Riders. There's a few ones that are, I think, you should interview because they're amazing. Like when people were dick riding Axie, and I'm like, fuck Axie. Cometh, War Rider, Neon District. There's some really dope games that are crypto-based. And yeah, they're a little play-to-earny and a little freemium-ish, but they're still good, and they're working. For those, I don't do any of that. So it doesn't hurt me. Do you think that most people are impacted by the speed of their blockchain outside of the gas fee they don't like seeing sometimes?
100%. 100%. You need to understand, Kane, that for the majority of the people that are participating, even in NFTs right now, they're speculators. They're flipping. You know, I just got back from Asia, speaking with a couple of people, and you need to take into consider what the minimum wages in some of these countries is and how profitable it is to flip both tokens and NFTs. And in order to be successful at that, you need to be first. You need to be in it first. You need to be able to get out quick, and you need transactions to be, accessible. And that's a reason why you see stuff like Sound.xyz moving to Arbitrum, right? Or is it Optimism? I forgot which one they chose. But it's the reason for these L2's existence in the first place, because Ethereum is just, even for people like, if you're in Ethereum, you already have an acquisition power high above the majority of the people in this country, first world countries and beyond, And then if you're going to do it, as a speculator in and out all the time, and you're going to track you have to track how much it's costing you to transact. Right. Mm-hmm. And so it's just inaccessible. And if we're looking to onboard the amount of people that we would like, which is millions, it's just not going to be feasible. Yeah, we would like that. We would like, maybe you don't, Kane, but the gamers and the traders.
No, I would love it.
The gas fee situation as well is something you don't appreciate till you lose it. It's like health almost. Like you're just going about it, and then when you actually are in poor health, you're realizing how much you were missing when you were healthy, if that makes sense, or that you were grateful for being healthy, and that's what it feels like in these highs.
When I don't have money, I think about how much I'm spending on fucking TV show apps that I never watch. It's when them apps on Instagram, the Instagram ads are, hey, we can cancel all the subscriptions for you. It's like I'm still paying for a 3D sniper on my phone, a game 3 phones ago. I'm still paying for the shit. Never play the game. Point is, if most people are speculating, then I don't have to worry about mass adoption. We're not going to see it. If most people are speculating, then that does all the work I need for me, because it's a casino. They're all losing, and there's only but so many times you can do that without free drinks or a pretty woman telling you you're handsome.
It feels like the percentages stay the same every cycle, but we just get more people. I think that at the end of the day, every cycle we add more individuals to whatever this is. There's still the same percentage of casino players as well as people that are trying to use this stuff. Maybe even more so on the usage side and
I think so.
Actually building things. I think there are always going to be speculators, and that will always be a strong majority of the space. Maybe a third or half will always be speculators, but we're still growing that.
When I think there's speculators, but I don't think that they're speculating as far as day trading. I think there's people who are looking to this space as an avenue or a vehicle to improve their lives. How that's going to happen, I don't think a lot of people are sure, but they're looking at it as a vehicle to improve their lives. And for that, I would say, yeah, come on in. It's here. I think if 1.5 million people were dumped into this space, I ain't making art no more. I'm scamming. That's the best job. That'll be the best job in 20 minutes. Scamming. And I'm a really good scammer, so like I'll be awesome at it.
Me and Gifta were sitting up here one day thinking like, why do we create all this content and spend all this time when we could just create a Pepe studio, and literally any time any new thing is created, you just create a new Pepe of that thing. There's Pepe punks, there's Pepe bears, there's Pepe everything, and those people are probably making a massive profit.
I promise you, a lot of those people are woefully unhappy. And they're not doing good. You see that thing you're doing right now? What's that thing you're doing? I love it when you do it. Smiling. They never do that. They haven't done that in months. You're doing great. But the grifty grifters and the scammy scammers are unfortunately, however we look at it, they're a necessary part of the ecosystem as well, the same way algae are part of a pond. They keep the sovereignty part on track. They keep the decentralization decentralized, and they keep everyone frosty. We don't have time to not worry about government bodies because we're always worried about someone trying to take our crypto. We don't have time to fall for, I'm talking about the people who are here who are awake. Don't have time for, hey, they're doing an ETF of Bitcoin. Ugh. It's ugh. That should be ugh. You don't want that.
Okay. All right. Before we get into that,
I think this is a good question to ask you two right now and the chat. Why are you still here? What keeps you here right now? Like, are you here for the revolution, to see the old banking cartels fall and cheer on as they go down in flames? Haha. Or the art, the community? Why are you still here, Kane?
Me personally?
Yes.
I was here for a really simple thing that I still get to live out, and until I can't do that anymore, the space is still viable for me. I make pictures for my raps, and when I do that, sometimes magic internet people say they're good, and sometimes they buy them with magic internet money. And then the whole other thing that I never planned on, that was all I wanted. If you can give me that, I'll show up. I'll post. I may not be here every day. I may not run 19-hour rooms, but I will keep coming back to this space as long as I can do those three things, which is I get to make pictures for my raps and people say they're good. That's a lot for me. Every now and again, they buy them. And the third thing, of course, is I made friends here. And the same as I show up for Clash of Clans. Like, I don't play Clash of Clans no more, but I'm still in the fucking WhatsApp. I'm in a Guyanese Clash of Clans clan on WhatsApp, and all we're doing is talking shit to each other. I watched their kids. I've been in that WhatsApp since 2016. I've watched their kids grow up. Like, I have a son. I just had a baby, right? My friends in Middleton, Neighborhood Jewelry, and my Web3 friends are watching my son grow up through pictures or conversation or things like that. Community is deeper than us making money or even breaking bread together. Community becomes a system of people with commonality of sameness, sure, interests, cool, but we have history. And history is more important than anything else. There's people who I don't even like that are going to be in my community. And we'll fall in and out of friendship with each other, but I'll still be there with them because it's like, fucking, I remember the time you did the thing, you said a thing, it was great. Like Jeff Jag. I love Jeff Jag. I love hearing Jeff Jag talk. I love saying inappropriate things to Jeff Jag. I can't imagine a world where I don't do that to Jeff Jag. So I'm going to keep on showing up for just that.
Jeff.
No, by the way, tell people he has a huge hog. It makes him very uncomfortable. It's very funny.
I'll make sure next time I see him, I'll tell him that.
But I show up for that and just to put a cherry on top of the cupcake of your question. If I didn't make money, I'd still do it. Because I learned this space from people who didn't make money and were still doing it. So I was onboarded from a counterparty Bitcoin guy, a bunch of token smart people, and Cypher.eth. So like I'm from that. If you look at who brought me in the space, I make a lot of sense because I'm a byproduct of the people who brought me here. It's like hey, think of it this way. Okay. And then I just do. No questions asked. And then I go into the space and I learn and I understand. But I've watched people with a lesser constitution than mine fall off because they're here for money. Well, money's gonna ebb and flow, bro. You're not always gonna make money. The fake bro relationships and all that, I ain't here for that. I don't smoke weed, so like a lot of that high shit niggas be doing means nothing to me. I genuinely I'm serious. It's a bunch of stoner Gen Z niggas like, yo, dude, sheesh. And I'm like, all that you wear a hoodie when it's hot outside shit, I'm not from your era. I don't get you.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna keep my answer really short, and then Biggie, I'd love to hear your response as well to that question. But I would like to move us on. We're gonna go for probably about 20 more minutes. I came into the space for financial freedom when I was I would think I was 26, 27 years old. That's how I came into this space. This was a new tech. This was new finance. It was very flashy to me, and it was a way that I could potentially get to financial freedom. That's how I came into this space. I will say, apart from the individuals now that I've met through just being in this industry, I would say self-sovereignty is something that I can't go back to. You know, like I can't go back to not having it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm in this space. Like I just can't see myself reverting to having that light bulb, go off in, 2018 or 2017. I'm trapped. I'm trapped here forever now that I know about self-sovereignty. So I would say I got into it for financial freedom, the individuals, of course, and then now the ownership aspect and the self-custody and, being able to own, in a digital world that we're moving forward into, being able to own shit inside that world is important to me.
Nice. Yeah, I agree with that. And shout out to Knox Darkness. I like his answer a lot. Revolution, fun, art, technology, utility, community, in that order. I got into it a rebel. 2008 was, I don't know, it changed my life. And it being from the U.S.-Mexico border, you get to know so many people that depend on the arbitrage between those currencies and the banking transactions between those two countries. And when it happened, I got to see a lot of good friends get destroyed on both sides of the border, played, and nobody went to jail. They barely, they're lucky if they even got a "I'm sorry" letter. This happened, and it fucking pissed me off. It enraged me. And after that, I didn't jump in right there and then, else I'd be in way better standings, right? But it caught my attention. And when the time came and I had my opportunity, I jumped in with both feet. And very much like UQ, I can't look back. Like, I cannot think of going back and playing, by the rules of this old guard, because I see how damaging it can be, and that they can, with the flip of a switch, take away everything from you. And so, yeah, self-sovereignty for me and revolution. I know some people may scoff at the idea, and maybe not the entire banking cartel will fall off, but man, I'll pray for it till the day I die, and I hope I at least get to see more of these fucking assholes either have to, join our space, learn our lingo, or get the fuck out and crash and burn, but self-sovereignty, man. What's up? No worries. You're kidding me. What?
he used to be in that cartel.
The reason I can't...
I love it, man. What the fuck?
Viva en México 3 años y medio. What the fuck are you talking about? That arbitrage you're talking about, when the pagador would come around and the shit's down, it's a pain in the ass. But I can't actively cheer for the fall of Rome with y'all because I'm fucking Roman. Like,
we're in Rome.
Nah, I'm Roman. Like, I get it. We're in Carthage. Like, Rome needs to go down, and I'm like, they're dicks. I get it, but nigga, I'm Roman. I'm from there. I was an 18-year-old stockbroker. You know what this space did for me though? It showed me a lot of my life was a lie. And I understood I lived a lie. I'm fine living a lie. I didn't know that I was told as many lies. So when the GameStop and AMC thing happened, right? You can't do that. I've borne witness to some serious financial crime. But I say, yo, you can't do that. And I'm explaining it to my girl, and she's like, why are you screaming? And I'm like, because you can't do that. And then I watched them take on the hedge fund. And I was like, you don't, and she's like, babe, you act like you're watching war. I am! Ants just ate an elephant. And the other elephants had to come, and then they had to make a deal with the ants and say, okay, we'll leave them alone, but you guys got to stop. You can't do that. They cut a god. Yo, regular people beating a hedge fund is like taking out your knife and wounding a god. You cut a god and he bled money. You fucking kidding me? And I realized, oh shit, everything I thought was wrong. Everything I learned about fire was taught to me by a bale of hay. Fuck. Time to reevaluate. So I reevaluated. I was only ready for this space after that shit. I was only prepared to accept what I had to accept about the music business, the art business, and a lot of that stuff is still true. But the space that I inherited wasn't the space that y'all walked into. The space that I inherited was a dangerous knife fight. Y'all got Fern Gully. I got Avatar after the fucking tree was about to get bulldozed. I got a very different situation. So by the time I got here, it was already pick a side, choose a gang, maxis of every different variety, every PFP.
It wasn't as unified. Yeah, that's a good.
There was a swindler on every street. And I was like, cool, I'm used to that. So when they're like, hey, man, don't you believe in the revolution? I'm like, it's the same shit I left. Nigga, what are you talking about? I'm just not dealing with that because I ain't grifting here. But then when people start, you can't remain in this space as vocal as any of us are and not fall in love with some of these people. You can't. Like, it's not possible. It's hard. How do you not love Sarah Script? Really? You don't love Sarah Script? You can't not love Sarah Script. She's amazing. I don't know what the fuck she looks like. I don't care what she looks like. I know her voice. Hey, GM. And it makes me happy. And you want to see her win. So it's hard to not fight for the space the longer you're in it.
That game stops. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, but do I believe that we're gonna take down the banks?
Could we say that at least if it was a good play and they cut a god and started making money, it eventually took a narrative of its own, and it became much more than just about these people making money, right?
Well, the dope thing
became about the very central thesis back from 2008, which is like, dude, like, we need to fix this. Something's wrong. This is not an even ground we're playing in, and to me, that's all it is. It's I don't see it as that, like I'm binational myself, and I'm not. It's not like I want to see people get hurt or see like some crazy downfall, but I do think it's required. Like, this creative destruction is nothing new. It's happened before, even in financial instruments, So why not again? Why does this behemoth get to continue operating the way it has and abusing the currency, the system, taxing its citizens the way it is, unobstructed. I'm sorry. That to me is unacceptable. And unfortunately, like, there's no kind words or court system that will ever be able to resolve it. It's like you said, it's fucking war. It's war. Self-sovereignty has a cost and a responsibility, in my opinion. It's not for everybody. I understand. But, it falls on me, and on everybody in the crypto space, in my opinion, to drag everybody else kicking and screaming to what is potentially a revolution, a much better alternative.
It feels like one of the only places you can have a revolution and win. Like, that's one thing that's cool back at the crypto space is you see good people winning. Whereas the like you guys said, the system is set up to see the people who have always won. Whereas in crypto, you see a lot of examples of just good, like even the GameStop situation, the good guys won. It felt like the rebels, beat the empire in that sense. And
if the old school crypto space had a mascot, it would be the panda bear, because everybody loves you, but you don't fuck enough to reproduce. And the people that do reproduce aren't panda bears. There's not enough of y'all. What you bred was the people who brought me in. If we're going lineage, right? The people who brought me in came in 2012, 2015, that era, them people, right? People I learned from is y'all's era. 2008, 2016. Somewhere, right? That's you guys' thing. Those are the people who taught me. I'm weird. 80% of the time I'm out here wrecking with people is because I'm espousing y'all values. I don't have values. I'm a lowlife. I'm a robot. I only do what I'm programmed to do. So I was just around good people who said, these are the rules. I said, okay. No one out here is playing by them shits, right? They're like, yeah, fuck them, Kane. I'm like, all right. Because, it's like we're wasting time and not making money, and everyone's making money, and we're just being good guys. Why are we being good guys? Fuck that. Let's get some money. And they were like, nah, it's not what we do, Kane. I said, okay. But the space is the space. So when you say, can we? Yeah, sure. We can drain the swamp, but it's more probable someone's going to cut a deal with the alligators. We could drain the swamp, but we'll probably cut a deal with the gators. And it sucks, but it's true. Yeah, there's stuff that can be fixed, but people be peopling. And there's no real in life. There are very few systems. Mostly it's just an inner web of people. Like, good example, I was part of mortgages. I don't consider myself a system, but I inadvertently did redlining. It's true. I only did Montgomery County, PG County, District, Northern Virginia. I didn't want to do city or Anne Arundel or some other shit. I just thought the value was higher, so I did it over here. Am I a system or am I a person trying to make money? And that's what most people aren't supervillains in their own world. They're just people trying to make a profit. So like it's hard in a culture that cheers for money is we cheer for money around here.
We
bro.
do. We can't have it both ways. When it's good, people are cheering for money, but when it's bad and we say, oh, why are all these people here for money? It's because we're a huge honeypot.
That's why that Ordinals shit is crazy to me, especially for the old school Bitcoin people. Like, I didn't listen, and I'm gonna be clear. I wasn't there. I didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
Y'all niggas ran around the planet telling little villagers that this is their ticket to freedom, and then jack the gas prices up so you can put dick pics on the internet. That's crazy to me. Hey, base your government money off this. Yeah. What's happening to the? Oh yeah, we're doing this fun thing, bro. It's fucking awesome. But I'm running a hospital. What am I supposed? Yeah, fuck that hospital. Hey, you got these squishy squid? Everyone got coked out. How is a thing supposed to provide freedom and be the instrument of deliverance for people if we still use it to fuck around with? Didn't that book say hard money you can't fuck with? But we fucked with it, didn't we? I think we got to clean our backyard up before we start inviting everyone else over.
All right, I hope y'all are enjoying this episode. We are waxing poetic about the state of Web3, state of blockchain, why we got into this industry and why we're still here. So it's a dope conversation. I do want to get a couple more topics in before we end this episode, and I want these fine gentlemen's takes on that. If you guys can leave a like on the episode, it helps us get it out to more individuals that will want to hear the gospel here. So big shout out to NFTGO here on NFT Live. They're our sponsor for this month. We appreciate them. We use their site. And this is one of the ways we use their site is using the market overview piece here. So I'm going to go through it with y'all, just give you a quick update. Barometer 30, it's cool. It's cooling off here. That's been cold for a minute. I can't wait to have that be looked at in a bull market. Blue chip index, again, this is only on Ethereum, Kane. So if you got any hot takes, let me know. But against ETH over the last 7, and if you zoom out to 30 days, we are pretty rough here. So for the past month, we're at all-time lows against USD. Same thing for ETH.
What am I looking at?
Market cap and volume. This is all NFTs on Ethereum.
Oh.
So market cap and volume, you can see over the last 30 days, volume is okay. We've kind of, went, crabbed out a little bit here over the last month. Market cap has gone down against ETH. Same thing against USD. So if we zoom out to 3 months, you can kind of get a good look. So volume's still holding ish steady, but we've kind of fallen off a cliff there. As far as the volume on collections over the past 24 hours, Bored Ape, almost 50% of volume. I want to get into this with y'all actually, with Blur, get y'all's take there. Mutant Ape, Azuki, Wrapped CryptoPunks, DeGods, Kennel Clubs, Beans, Art Blocks, and Pudgy Penguins are all in the top 10 over the last 24 hours. And then the last 7 days looks about the same, although that derivative project, Boring Punks, and the Captains are in the top 10. So that is the NFTGO Bag Check. I do have trending mints that we could pull up because ETHscriptions are up there, folks. It is happening. ETHscriptions.
Can we see what they look like?
That's a good question. So innovative.
Yeah.
So I think there was a ETHscription punk, right? Like that was the original piece. If I can go back to the original tweet, I don't even know if I have it anymore. But the original was a CryptoPunk piece, and Kane is now upset that we have.
No,
the
I'm
punks
happy
up
that
here.
I saw it. It brought me to a realization. I'm happy that I saw it. I love epiphanies. Love getting a good epiphany. Haven't had one in a couple weeks.
The epiphany being what? And again, I do have two other topics I want to touch on with y'all. So
we keep getting mad at Mitsubishi, man. People just like drugs. It ain't Mitsubishi fault. People stamp fucking their logo on some e-pills. It's a triple stack Mitsubishi. Niggas just want to get high. They don't care what they buying. That could have been a punk. That could have been an ape. It could have been anything. They can stamp it with anything. They're gonna stamp it with something familiar. Pikachu was on e-pills. I don't think that's the Pokemon people fault. So, it's just another thing for people to speculate on. And there's nothing fun about being a degenerate gambler. On a long enough timeline, they all wreck out. So you should find something in this space that makes you happier than gambling, because trust me when I tell you, the highs aren't as high as the lows are low.
Okay, with that statement, I want y'all's take here. So we've got a couple different things to cover. Overall, markets look like we're taking a little bit of a turn. Some of that might have to do with the ETF stuff that Kane was mentioning earlier. It looks like Deutsche Bank is also applying for this digital asset license in Germany. So there's this Operation Choke Point that keeps coming up, right? That even FTX was some type of false flag that they planted here so that we could somehow be attacked, and then the main banks swoop in. Do we buy into that take?
Yes.
I don't know if it was a deliberate false flag planted, but whether it was or wasn't, they're definitely taking the opportunity with both hands.
Okay. So we are sitting here, again, crypto markets look like they're, kind of pumping a little bit. I don't want to, put the cart before the horse here. But some of that is a reaction to this ETF. NFT floors suck. I do want y'all's take on the Yuga Labs FUD, but I guess kind of bring that together for me when it comes to where your take is on the market and NFTs. This is another tweet by Statistics saying OpenSea volume was below 1,800 ETH on Sunday for the first time since 2021. So some of the lowest volume on ETH, price floors on NFTs have been consistently falling for the last year. Well, overall take here.
Those are two different things. So OpenSea volume is OpenSea volume, and OpenSea volume counts everything. They're not counting just ETH, right? They're counting everything. And you know what what's on OpenSea? Well, a lot of shit that's on OpenSea is scams from Binance. Binance scams is on OpenSea. And Binance has had a problem operating last little bit. So you're going to see a little bit of that drop off. Also, remember, when things are rip-roaring and running, a lot of that volume is fake. A lot of that volume is people seeding their own fish tanks. So they're just trying to lure you in by baiting price action, but it's no longer super duper profitable to do it. It costs money to do that. And they're not exactly getting a good ROI or as good of an ROI as they used to. So you're going to see stuff drop off. You're also going to see tons of fun with NFTs are dead. NFTs are never going to be dead the same way vinyl records are never going to be dead. People buy them that are into them. A lot less people are pretending to be into them. And that's probably a good thing. And for that finance FUD thing, It's not that I think that it was a false flag. I think that anything that you can accuse a bank of trying, they will probably try. Large financial institutions are like a middle-aged man that already took a Viagra on a date with a young woman. Anything he can do to get you into bed is going to be fucking tried because he already took the pill. So he's going to try everything. He's going to try buying you a drink. He's going to try flattering your day. He's going to try talking to your mom. He's going to try talking about your past. He's going to try everything in the book to get you butt naked. And I think the crypto space has proven itself to be a resilient wealth generator for the kind of people that should not have wealth generated for them. And that's not something that a lot of people are very fond of. I'm fond of it. I think Biggie's probably pretty fond of it based on what he said today. I think we're both very fond of it. You know, somebody in Nogales who is a fucking bolero shouldn't have the ability to change his life and buy a house. But he can here. And he can do it without giving his or this or any respective government their tip. And he doesn't have to pay a financial institution a cup of blood and a pound of flesh in order to be able to play. And I think they would very much love to regulate that, but in order to do that, they have to control it, which they currently can't. So anything that allows them to step in here, yeah, sure. But all it's going to do is pump bags for crypto guys who aren't going to ever sell.
Biggie, your take here.
I agree with that. I think, you know, they're relentless, and so that they will not stop trying until they hit a brick wall. And I think, yeah, this whole thing since, you know, Luna and FTX is basically giving them so many opportunities to come in and try to take possession, you know, and hijack this technology for their own benefit. And I think that's what you're seeing right now, right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love this take by Haska, and it's, you know, it's hard not to see the intentionality behind it, right?
So Hasaka's saying crypto exchange EDX markets backed by Citadel Securities, Fidelity, Schwab, start operations, drown the crypto native exchanges in lawsuits, generate fear around them, and then let TradeFi vultures swoop in.
Yo, are they really calling it TardFi? I love it. I've never heard that before. Is that our word or their word?
TardFi? I think it's ours.
That's all because TradFi, but TardFi.
Like
right?
the huddle, right? But
yeah.
hard.
I want to make sure. No, I want to make sure I'm on the right page because
you can.
It's TardFi, right?
It's TardFi.
That's great. Yo, I don't like new slang. Universally, this is the only space that provides me with new slang that I just go, yeah, as you said, buddy. I love it.
If you see Kane in the Twitter spaces using TardFi, you know.
Oh, 100%. Heard it right here. Heard it right here.
On NFT Live. All right, the last take that I want, and this kind of ties in together. So if you want to continue your take there, Biggie, as well, let me know. But Blur's effect on the NFT space is becoming more and more apparent. My take when me and Gift talk about this is it's what happened with Blur is it incentivized whales to step in and buy from the capitulated NFT collectors that eventually sold. If Blur didn't exist, we'd be at lower prices now, is basically my take. What Blur did was stop for a moment the bloodbath by saying these large NFT collections, whales, you are incentivized to hold these and trade them back and forth. And so you see these whales with larger and larger collections, that the trade volume is more and more concentrated into 5 to 10% of the wallets, as opposed to obviously mass organic trading that you saw in the bull run. So again, my take is Blur isn't really, I wouldn't say killing the market. It's more so we would be at lower lows back in January with all of this stuff. Bored Ape would have been at 30 or 40 back in January, as opposed to now what we're seeing is Bored Ape's just consistently bleeding. And it has to do with the Blur trading that's occurring. So I don't know if I did the best job at articulating what's happening with Blur. Punks, again, not NFT statistics here. I think this chart helps explain why punks have been relatively steady while BAYC price has been so weak. And you can see Blur bidding on punks doesn't really exist. And Blur bidding on BAYC has only increased over time, and people are making the connection that Blur is essentially killing the market. So, y'all's takes.
Wait, wasn't there like somebody trading a bunch of or dumping a bunch of punks at some point on Blur? I thought there was, like, or at least for an instant. Man,
Franklin, one of them. Who knows?
Blur is one of those cases of like careful what you wish for, right? Because I remember back in the day how we used to pray to have a competitor for OpenSea, right? And we'd love to bash OpenSea, and we got Blur for our sins. We got Blur, and you know, I think it does. I don't know. It's like it's hyper financialized NFTs. I think, to a degree that none of us could have, you know, foreseen. Having said that, like you said, like certain collections, you know, trade a lot less on Blur. And those are the collections I'm a little bit more curious about, right? Because it speaks to their community and their holders, right? I mean, and it's strange, right? Like I feel like, for example, Moonbirds is one of them, right? Where you see the amount of Moonbirds that are nested, right? And that are held by the community. It's like substantial, right? It's like one of the most diamond-handed communities out there. And yet, with such a small portion of this being traded back and forth on Blur, they've been able to kill fucking floor prices, like insane. I don't know what to make of it. Honestly, I don't want to pretend that I do. I just see it as like hyper financialization of NFTs. And I don't want to hate on it completely because I feel like it is kind of like putting holders' feet to the fire, right? And projects themselves too, right? Where it's like, if you are delivering for your community, if your holders are truly holders, then you shouldn't see so much crazy shit happen on Blur, right?
That feels like is what should happen. If Bored Ape
right?
essentially has the
Exactly.
most diamond-handed holders, who cares if 4 wallets trade this into oblivion? Because eventually they can't do that. Correct? Again, there's some economic situation happening, process that is driving this floor price lower and lower. And what I think, again, happened was everybody capitulated already, and it went into the hands of these farmers that are slow dripping the BAYC price. That's the only thing I can think of because it makes no sense otherwise.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really awesome.
I like that.
By the way, Rarible was the marketplace that you wanted. Blur was the marketplace you deserved. And since I saw Blur coming, and I did, I called it. I'm very happy with everything that's happening over there. I'm extremely pleased. I think it should go a little faster. I think people need to be a little less cautious, and you're not degenerate hard enough, right? You got to get in there. You're not gonna, scare money don't make money. Nothing in the middle of the road but a yellow line and a dead skunk. So get up in there, and you can beat the machine. But realistically, pump and dumps never had a marketplace. There was no pink sheets for pump and dumps. There was thinly traded securities. There was small cap companies that wanted to go public, but there wasn't anything specifically for pump and dumps because they're illegal. NFTs kind of made a lane for them, and dumb money can't really defend itself against organized, manipulative charlatans if they're really motivated to separate you from your cash and there's no one to step in and stop them, especially when the culture dictates that what they're doing is just fine. Most people are buying, like you said, to make money. Now, I don't think that that's indicative of the market. I do think that's indicative of a lot of the people who are trying to flip NFTs on OpenSea. And OpenSea, man, we're making them a lot of money. If you have time in your day to think about how much money flippers are making OpenSea, you're in a very interesting line of work because no one else has time for that except motherfuckers who's flipping and paying that fee all the time. but these are the same people who thought that it was cool to play with creator royalties. Now, I don't believe in creator royalties as far as like it being some permanent right that I'm entitled to. But I do think that it's a part of the space, and I do think that it's a nice, neat thing, and I do think that the only people who don't care about them are flippers. But when you court flippers, you get what come with it. Hang out with a pimp is real fun till he slaps you. Now it's like, oh, I don't like this anymore. So yeah, Blur's great, but look how they meet you is how they treat you. How did Blur introduce themselves to you? With an airdrop, right? Because you deserve it. Because you deserve it for all your hard work. You there, Anon. You deserve it. That's what they told you. You deserve it. No, fuck what he's talking about. You deserve it. He's gonna say you don't deserve it. I think you do. I think you should have got more airdrop. You deserve all the airdrop. Click this link. Just click it real quick. Just click it. Click it. Connect your wallet. Click it. Click it. Come on. Let me see. Click it. Let us see your hands. Just see it. Let us see who you are. Click it. Click it. Click it. Click a ticket. Come on. Show us what you are. And when you clicked it, and they gave you the little fucking fuckity fuck boxes, you didn't question it, did you? Of course you didn't. Blur knows what you are. They know what you'll settle for. And they're treating you like what you are. And I think that's great.
CryptoPhage is saying some communities don't like Blur. Don't ask why. Asmodai's asking anyone checking out the swoosh themed Fortnite map. We can check that out tomorrow. I do have to sit down with Ralph Quintero at the top of the hour, so we're probably going to hop out of here in the next 5 minutes. Great takes from both of these guys here. Innocent until proven guilty saying, whoa, Kane is here and Biggie?
Yeah, I love Biggie Poppins. Yo, Biggie, you know you made the clip for the show? Did you know that?
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you're in the cartoon, bro.
No fucking way.
You're only on Web3's YouTube. You got to go to this channel's YouTube page. No, it's Web3 YouTube. This is
yeah,
it, right?
Yeah. You mean like the channel banner?
Yeah, and you got to go to the playlist. And on the playlist, it says Speakeasy, and yours is in there.
Nice.
Yeah. It's very funny. You talk about the girl. Dude. Remember the girl in the grocery store? You didn't want to call her fat?
Oh, no.
That's in there, though. It's in there. It's good. It's a very funny episode.
I think it's right there next to, are there baby fetuses in Pepsi? It's right there next to
Yeah. Yo, son, let me tell you something. Those are the best clips ever.
Dude.
Yeah.
But
we got canceled.
Out, man.
I would love to relaunch that show.
I would too, Kane.
No, I got fucked up. I know you gotta go. I got used to dumping my poison once a week, and I used to get all my inappropriateness and racisms out, and then I could be like a civilized gentleman, and then I didn't have an outlet for my filth and debauchery. So now it's just inappropriate times, like at the doctor's office with the baby, and like it was just not cool, and I'm just inappropriate now, and I can't turn it off. She's like, is the baby allergic to anything? I was like, yeah. Small poops and weakness, my nigga. And she looks at me and my girl's like, please shut the fuck up. And I was like, no?
You should consider putting it up on ETHscriptions, man.
I would rather throw out all my delicious chews. By the way, I've been stretching out my taffies, as you should, with the ginger chews. Yeah, I buy them by the kilo. So you get you a key of delicious ginger and let it set you free. Open that nose hole up.
If y'all are enjoying the content today, leave a like on the episode because this is just gold, per usual. When I have these two guys up here, last thing I want to tie a bow on that Blur and kind of overall market situation. The theory, I guess, goes that in a bull market, though, that type of degeneracy, that type of leverage will lead to some type of positive move upwards when the momentum goes that way. Is that a correct take? Do you think Blur will be an aid to floor prices? Do we think that NFT floor prices will eventually, there will be another run? Because I know that the take that you had, Biggie or Kane, was that they're not going to die, and I think we all agree with this. But the question is, will they ever get to their former highs? We've seen things like ETH get up to 6K and then go all the way, down, and it's gone through multiple cycles. Bitcoin's the same way, a couple others. Will NFTs see this same cycle in y'all's opinion?
I think it needs to
not everything. I definitely think some projects will, but I to think that it's just going to be across the board the way I don't know. It could be, right? Like, I mean, if fucking Dogecoin runs up every single time we have a fucking bull market, like, who's to say NFTs won't? But with the amount of NFTs that were produced in this last cycle, I can't help but think that not everything's going to survive, right? And yes, to your question regarding the blur, well, at least like some whales believe that, right? If not, they wouldn't be hoarding so much supply, right? But it'll remain to be seen. I do think it's going to hinge on additional factors. I think not just the bull run starting. I think people will be a lot more cautious this time around. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot less volume traded right now, right? People are like tight fisting their ETH and they're waiting to see what survives from their bags actually survives and makes it through, right? And I think you'll see that with NFTs as well, but it'll be a delayed after effect after you see, the classics run first. And I think, people will be looking to see what these other projects are doing, with their runway that they had, with their deliverability, and what their communities are like by the end of this cycle.
I don't think that NFTs aren't money. They're not what people wanted them to be. And I understand the want. The want made total sense. I would want it too. Like for Solana people, you think Hive Keepers is going to be $5,000 an image? Like, probably not, right? Because that was a Solana project from 2021. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. Things fall in and out of favor. The coins will always be, I think, okay as long as there's people, validators, such and such and so forth. Some of these coins will work, some of them won't. Some of these NFT projects will work, a lot of them won't. Some of the stuff we're using is Google. Some of it is fucking Ask Jeeves and Lycos, go get it. And anyone who pretends they know, I understand having valid reasons, and I'm super strong about my opinions too, but I'm strongest about the opinion that I'm not a fucking prognosticator and I don't know. I do know this though, if your entire business model for any business is based on the greater fool, your business is coming quickly to a cliff, and it will eventually go over that cliff because there will eventually not be a person stupid enough to be the dumber dumb to do the dumb for you, because you need a dumber dumb. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
You need a greater fool to bail the last fool out of his bad error, but that fool needs another fool, and then at some point you hit the precipice of retardation, and you can't get a person who's that dumb who also isn't stupid to not have money. Like there's a tipping point of like a fuck around find out scale where you go off the cliff, and okay, there's lots of people who are this stupid, but they're poor because they're that stupid, and the QVC nigga got them long before you had a chance. Instead of bought a bunch of moissanite chains and shit, like he's about to be rich. So he's like, diamonds, oh my god, for $100, like he got money, but he's dumb. So there's a cliff for that. So I think basing things on value, and what Blur did, just to touch on that, was it alleviated the pain from the medicine. The medicine was, yo, what are y'all doing? Oh, just degenerating. Yeah, what does that mean? Stop that. Why don't you buy things that you like? And we'll all just buy things that we like, and popular things will win. Popular things by good founders, not speculative gambling. Not people buying things that they don't give a fuck what the picture is. They just want the thing because they think that there's going to be a lot of dumbs lined up to buy this thing from them. It has nothing to do with the thing you're buying. I'm not buying like everything. Like if you look behind me, I'm in my red. It's called my red room because that light is a Coors Light sign and it turns the whole room red when it's nighttime. Everything in this room is important to me. Everything. It's probably hard. That Marshall guitar amp with my Oculus on top of it is a beer fridge. Yo, I only buy things I like. I've always been that way. I only buy, and the things I buy are my treasures. Now, I'll sell you that fridge, but you gotta pay me like double for it, some shit like that. Like I don't want to sell it to you. I like it there. It's shipping and handling. It's a hassle. Like if you want to buy that African fucking painting on the carving thing on the wall, I'll sell it to you for like $300. But how much you pay for it doesn't matter. I'll give it to $300. It's too much. That's cool. I'll leave it there. but the market wasn't running off that.
Yeah.
It was running off people buying things that, frankly, I put my rent money into this. I don't want a half-used candle with a slogan on it. I just bought it because everyone was buying half-used candles with slogans on them. What does this say? My life is dope and I do dope shit. Who cares? I didn't care which one I got. But it's a black one, so it's rare. So I think that's good. There should be lots of dumbs lined up to buy this, and I hope so because my phone bill's in it. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And Blur threw gasoline on that. So it's harder to unfuck it now that it's this bad.
I like that analogy a lot with Blur. The SEC piece, and we do have to wrap up, but the SEC piece is interesting because they don't understand that an NFT could be multiple things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that it can be a security and evolve out of it or be another thing all at once. And I think the teams also play into this as well. The NFT project teams using NFTs as essentially funding rounds, right? Like seed rounds to start their business. And so you have that feature inside of an NFT where people are expecting a return maybe. It's interesting because NFTs can be multiple things at once. But where do we go too far is the point.
Tinfoil hat. What if Blur was a psyop so the government could point to it and say, look at how you treat these like security. Boom! What? Done! Crushed!
All right, hopefully you enjoyed today's episode of NFT Live. Biggie Poppins, Kane Mayfield hopped on today. We appreciate you guys so much, man. Web3 appreciate you. This community appreciates you. I will let y'all take it out, man. Our Vibe, our tribe. Who wants to go first and who wants to go second? Kane, Kane, put down the sword.
Oh, shit. Dude. I ain't going after that, dude. I love y'all. See you later this week.